Logic seems to me to be the insane logic of the tobacco industry, writ large, taken up with gusto by capitalism as a whole. You'll all be well aware that the tobacco industry has a problem in that its product kills its customers. Now that's bad enough in itself, of course, but the real impact this has is on future sales. Dead men don't smoke tabs. Similarly, with production in capitalism as a whole, you have a similar process. Carbon dioxide emissions are caused, in the main part at least, by increased industrial production and distribution over the last 30 years. It's not an individual's lungs that's getting contaminated as with tobacco smoke, it's the planet's lungs, as it were. But this increased production that's been ramping up over the last few decades looks like it may just kill off a not insignificant proportion of humanity. And the real tragedy of this for capitalism, of course, is that there may not be enough customers left to actually buy their products. And the irony of, on one hand, bemoaning the potential drop in GDP, when it's the GDP increases that have probably been causing the problem of global warming, that irony seems to have been lost on Sir Nicholas Stern. Now, one of the main headlines that his report generated when it was published a couple of years back was his assertion, and it's a bold one from an economist, that climate change is the greatest and widest ranging market failure ever seen. Now, if I have time, or during the discussion period, we might be able to return to this. It's not a competition, of course, but if the market system is in the dock, if we are taking other offences into account, if there's a charge sheet against capitalism, then there's a few other social problems that I would probably want to have taken into account as examples of market failure, which are at least the equal of climate change. And Glenn actually mentioned them. You can't see these as separate issues to be treated one after the other. Climate change, global poverty, war. These are all interlinked. So if we have time, I'll try and come back and link some of these things together. Nevertheless, there's certainly no denying that the view of the atmosphere as a bottomless dumping ground for carbon dioxide is an example of the market externalising a cost, not putting it on its balance sheet, out of sight and out of mind. And that's what Stern was referring to when he talks about market failure. Now, at least Sir Nicholas Stern had the good grace to admit that his approach, his methodology, raises, quote, profound difficulties, but he still used that method anyway. And I think the reason he used it is that that's the best he's got. That's the best that capitalism's got. That's the best it can do to try and get a handle on how to solve this problem. And many people are shocked by that, disgusted. That's immoral. How can you put a price on human life? That's just terrible. But from my point of view, from a moral socialist point of view, that is actually what goes on day after day inside capitalism. With every commodity, whether it's essential to life or not, food and water and shelter and healthcare, a price is put on it, and further down the line, ultimately a price tag is put on human life. This isn't immoral, it's just the way this particular system operates. So what can the individual do in response to this? And as I said earlier, a lot of the discussion about this has been, should you take cheap air flights? If it's a choice with air flights, I'd rather take a cheap one than an expensive one. I don't think expensive air flights are actually worse than cheap ones, but should you turn the thermostat down a degree, as this person is doing here? There's been an awful lot of emphasis on action as an individual, as a consumer. So I'll touch on this first of all. I've got a lot of problems, and the Socialist Party has a lot of problems with consumer politics. The main problem is with people expressing their views through their consumption choices, voting through your wallet or your purse. The main problem with that, of course, is that some people have more votes than others. Some people have more money than others. One person, one vote seems to me a fairly reasonable principle. People have fought and died for that over the years, and we should really try and stick to that. The right to choose between 2 brands of washing powder really doesn't strike me as being something worth dying for. So to start giving credence to consumer politics, without at least engaging socially and politically, to see the problem in terms of competing choices on the supermarket shelves seems to me to be a backward step. We are Homo sapiens after all, we're not Homo economicus. We're not just a belly on legs, we're not just a mouth, we have a brain, we can think abstractly, we can solve problems. It's a backward step just to view ourselves as consumers, nothing else, a dismal, redundant view of humanity. I'm not going to bore you with the details of why some people have more money than others. In fact, Glenn touched on this a little bit as well, the massive disparity in the distribution of wealth throughout the planet. We cannot ignore that when we come to talk about an issue such as climate change. So I'm not going to bore you with statistics on that, but I'll just give you a wee anecdote that I read the other day about this man. It's the only picture I could get on the internet. Jack Nicholson, an actor. And it's just trying to show the sort of disparity in wealth that some people have. Now, Jack Nicholson was sailing down to Monaco in his yacht to go to the Monaco Grand Prix. I'm sure you've all done similar yourselves. But you berthed at the marina, apparently, where the cars go past, for a split second, and that was it. So he was sailing down to Monaco. The problem from Jack Nicholson's point of view is that all his friends on the yacht were wanting to see the Monaco Grand Prix, but he, and I have some sympathy with him on this, he doesn't like Grand Prix racing. Instead, he wanted to watch his favourite basketball team, the LA Lakers, playing in a basketball match. To his surprise, French television wasn't showing the LA Lakers playing. So he had this big quandary, how's he going to see this basketball match? So he phoned around, or probably got a flunky to phone around for him, and time was running short, and the match was going to start in an hour, and they finally got hold of the BBC. And they said, well, we can help you out. And what they were able to do for him was to take a satellite that was in orbit and reposition the satellite so that you take the signals from the LA Lakers game in Los Angeles and beam it down to one man in front of this TV in Monaco. It cost him $1.5 million to do that. The embittered, envious socialist in me hopes that his team lost, and he had to watch every expensive minute of it. So it's when you hear things like that, and you hear things like that in the papers every day nowadays. 20 years ago you didn't, but nowadays it's like, this is all out in the open, look at what these rich people can do. It's when you hear something like that, you think, and I use this with my wife on a regular basis, and say, why should I feel guilty about not turning the hall light off when this sort of thing happens? Why should I feel guilty about global warming? I've got a choice between 1 or 2 molecules of carbon dioxide escaping or not. I don't know the carbon footprint of moving a satellite, maybe it's not a lot, but the carbon footprint embedded in $1.5 million is probably quite a lot. So I haven't got a lot of time for feeling guilty as a consumer. So anyway, that's at the sort of individual level. We can talk about that more later on. And I just want to move on then now to the political level. What are the options that capitalism is dangling in front of us? A whole array of options that we can choose between to deal with this problem. And just a few of them are put up on this slide. So there's a range of market or regulatory controls and mechanisms being considered or trialled or started in various stages in various parts of the world. They've either arisen voluntarily, that the market has actually just created these things of its own back,